Streaming live on News8000.com. This is News 8 Now, This Morning.
Good Thursday morning to you. I'm Jordan Fremstead.
And I'm meteorologist Eric Dean.
This morning on News 8 Now, a new member will join La Crosse's Board of Education, but a school board policy implemented 17 years ago prevents us from speaking with her.
Right now we have clear skies outside. Temperatures are in the 60s. No fog to talk about across the area. You will need the sunglasses today. Details coming up.
And nurses were on strike for the third and final day in Minnesota on Wednesday after union members were unable to reach an agreement. It is Thursday, September 15th, 2022. We've got all the news, weather, and buzz you need to plan out your morning coming up. But first, here's your Thursday morning eye-opener.
In a public school system, the superintendent answers to the school board. Board members answer to taxpayers. But under the current policy, the taxpayer will rarely, if ever, hear their board representative speak publicly with reporters.
Every single one of us needs a nurse one day in your life. We are here to fight so that you have that nurse the day you need it.
Take cash to the grocery store. Take cash to even fill up your car, because you will find you'll drive less because you're thinking, I just spent $50, that $50 out of your hand.
Bring on week 2, just 3 days until the green and gold get to flush that week 1 performance.
Well, I certainly hope so against the Chicago Bears for those Green Bay Packers.
Right.
You know, an interesting statistic. Quarterbacks that did not play in the preseason were 3-8.
Wow.
On opening weekend. So, if Patrick Mahomes can play in the preseason, Aaron, looking at you. I'm the only Aaron Rodgers critic in Wisconsin, folks. So, you're looking at the only one. But anyway, looking forward to that on this Sunday. But not looking forward to the rain, however.
Right. No, we are going to see rain chances in the forecast as we go in. So enjoy today. You will need the sunglasses as you make your way to your morning destination. Look at that temperature outside. 62 degrees. Our dew point's at 58. Humidity is sitting at 86%. We have winds out of the east-southeast at 7 miles per hour. Right now, we are in the 50s and 60s from top to bottom, again, making for a gorgeous start to your Thursday. We have abundant sunshine in the forecast. Right now, Viroqua, good morning to you guys. You're at 59, 60 in Sparta, 58 in Black River Falls, 60 is the current temperature in Eau Claire, 61 in Winona. And like I said, visibility, not really a problem across the majority of the Cooley region. Over towards Viroqua, Prairie du Chien, maybe Boscobel, seeing some thin fog, but that's about it. Radar scan, we have a clean sweep. Here's your bus stop forecast for today. We have temperatures going into the 60s with partly cloudy skies as the kiddos head to school. By the time they come home, we'll see temperatures right around 82 degrees. I'll have the 8-day forecast coming up later on in the newscast. Jordan, over to you.
All right. Thanks a lot for that update, Eric.
You bet.
Well, we begin this morning in La Crosse, where a new member will join the school district of La Crosse's Board of Education. News 8 Now is asked to speak with her, but we were denied. So why? As News 8 Now's Dua Israr found out, a 17-year-old school board policy doesn't allow it.
If words have meaning, then bullet point 5 in the La Crosse School Board of Education's mission statement would suggest the district has effective communication and collaboration with the community. But that doesn't explain why the school board wouldn't let News 8 introduce you to its newest board member.
Emily Moots has 4 votes.
Former Logan High School teacher Emily Moots. In August, now former board member Rob Abraham resigned.
Effective immediately.
Abraham criticized the district's proposed referendum to consolidate its 2 high schools, and Superintendent Aaron Engel, comparing Engel's leadership to a dictatorship.
I cannot in good faith continue to serve with this leadership, direction, and tactics.
On Monday, the La Crosse Board of Education chose Moots to replace Abraham.
You will be our next board member.
Moots says she wanted to join the board because of her experience as a former La Crosse district educator.
And I did because of how I was treated as a teacher in this district.
News 8 Now contacted the district spokesman to set up an interview with Moots. The spokesman said no. He said a 2005 policy directs all media requests to the board president and only the board president. In a public school system, the superintendent answers to the school board. Board members answer to taxpayers. But under the current policy, the taxpayer will rarely, if ever, hear their board representative speak publicly with reporters. So while the district mission statement calls for effective communication, the board policy limits it to just 1 member. The other 8, including Emily Moots, stay silent. Reporting in La Crosse, Dua Israr, News 8 Now.
Under Wisconsin's open meeting laws, the media policy would have needed to be publicized on a meeting agenda and then voted on by the board. News 8 now asked the district to share a copy of that agenda. The spokesperson with the district says they are looking into it. The Eau Claire County Sheriff's Department undersheriff has assumed the role of sheriff. Corey Shalinsky has taken over as sheriff for former sheriff Ron Kramer, who died unexpectedly on Tuesday. Shalinsky joined the department in 2012 and has earned promotion 3 times. Shalinsky will lead the department until the next election or appointment by the governor. The La Crosse County Board is working on the next budget for next year, totaling $208 million. News 8 Now's Rob Romano has the latest on how this money is likely to be spent.
La Crosse County Board Chair Monica Cruz says under the county's 2023 budget, property taxes will fall.
If you have a $100,000 house and you paid $310 in property taxes last year, it's going down to $290.
It comes as the county plans to spend more on infrastructure, including $7 million allocated for county highway projects. Officials have also been debating how to spend millions of dollars in American Rescue Plan funding.
An arduous process, let's say that. We had to create task forces that, tried to decide where the money was best spent. There was some controversy about that, of course.
One project that is expected to receive millions in ARPA funds is the Hillview Nursing Home, according to Executive Director of Long-Term Care and Residential Facilities, Wanda Placecki.
The La Crosse County Board has supported the project by authorizing up to $5 million of their ARPA dollars to help fund the building of the project.
Right now, Hillview Nursing Home houses 60 people, but according to Placecki, has the capacity for about 200. Officials want to use ARPA funds to build an additional structure for 48 residents who need specialized dementia and Alzheimer's care. Placecki adds that the new facility would not be attached to the current nursing home.
If final authorization is obtained to do that, then that would be the plan, to build an additional 48 beds, and then after that look at assessing this current building structure to determine what we might need for nursing home care, and then to make a decision about whether or not that's going to be a renovation, some demolition, if it's going to be a new building.
In La Crosse, Rob Romano, News 8 Now.
The county is expected to vote on the 2023 budget on November 23rd. Nurses were on strike for the 3rd and final day in Minnesota on Wednesday. Members were once again walking the picket lines at more than a dozen hospitals throughout the state. The strike continues to affect 15,000 nurses who left the hospital to walk the picket line after the union and healthcare providers were unable to reach agreements.
What we're looking for is a say at the staffing table. We want to sit down with the employer. We do the work. It's the Nurse Practice Act and the Minnesota State Board of Nursing that holds us accountable to our license. And when we have a say in how it is we practice, we get it done. But if we don't have a say, everyone is at risk. Every single one of us needs a nurse one day in your life. We are here to fight so that you have that nurse the day you need it.
Negotiations for new contracts may start again later today when thousands of nurses are scheduled to return to work.
I speak for all Minnesotans when I say few, if any, of us have answered calls like each and every one of you did these last few years. You know those calls. And I thank you for that, for putting your life and your families on the line for the rest of us.
On the final day of the strike, Senator Lopez Franzen shared supporting words to those nurses. Back here in La Crosse, city leaders say bus stops are getting an upgrade. The MTU is planning to refurbish and add new bus stop shelters. The work will be done over the next year and will be funded with federal transit dollars. The city of La Crosse wants your input, so you can let staff know if a shelter needs attention and where you would like to see one added. We have a link to a submission form where you can share your thoughts at news8000.com. Still to come on your Thursday morning news, food prices are going up. Consumer Watch shows you how to save money on expensive items during your next store visit. And a jury finds a man guilty of tormenting a Minnesota family because of the color of their skin. We'll have that coming up for you in the next half hour here on News 8 Now this morning. For now, we are sending you to break with something to put the good in your Thursday morning. You have probably heard of the movie Sharknado, and that is what happened to this charter skipper and his grandson when they hooked a mako shark on a fishing trip in Maine. The encounter turned wild when the shark suddenly took flight. Despite the in-your-face twist of fate, everybody was okay there. They took measurements and returned the shark to the sea, keeping one whale of a shark tail. Finally, a fish story that's got video evidence. That's a message to all you fishermen here in La Crosse. Get a video. Don't just tell a story. We got your latest forecast just ahead here on News 8 Now this morning. We'll be right back right after this.
Take a look outside. You can see we have sunny skies out there to start. Temperatures right now in the 50s and 60s, making for a gorgeous start to your Thursday. We'll see abundant sunshine for today. High pressure's in control, and it's going to stay in control as we go throughout the day. Here's a look at your lawn mowing forecast. Let's go ahead and start the lawnmower. We'll see temperatures going in the 60s by the 7 o'clock hour, 72 by the 11 o'clock hour. How about 83 by the 3 o'clock time frame? I'll have your 8-day forecast coming up in just a few minutes. Jordan, over to you.
This just breaking within the past hour. President Joe Biden says a tentative deal has been reached between the unions and rail companies to avert a major strike that could have halted the U.S. economy. The president called it a win for thousands of rail workers as well as companies. The agreement came around 5 this morning. After 20 consecutive hours of negotiations, that deal will now go back to the unions for a vote, after which there will be a cooling off period of several weeks. The Mortgage Bankers Association says the average interest rate on a 30-year loan has hit 6% for the first time since 2008. The industry trade group says that's essentially double from last year, adding that the high rates are causing some potential home buyers to stay on the sidelines. The group says mortgage applications fell 1.2% last week from the previous period. And the 83-year-old founder of Patagonia is giving away the entire outdoor clothing company worth about $3 billion to 2 environmental groups. Yvonne Chenard predicts the move will yield $100 million a year and help fund their climate change efforts. Patagonia will remain a for-profit. Food prices, I should say, are soaring at rates not seen since the late 70s. And from the meat counter to the bread aisle, many items on your grocery list are getting more expensive. In today's Consumer Watch, you can learn how to save money on expensive items during your next supermarket trip.
Prices for several basic items on your grocery list are soaring at rates not seen since May 1979.
Food prices are up 11.4% on a year-ago basis.
That's according to the latest Consumer Price Index released Tuesday by the Bureau of Labor Statistics, which also showed that overall, grocery prices jumped 13.5% over the last year. The data highlighting what Americans are already seeing at the supermarket. Most food items are more expensive than a year ago, including the bare essentials. Egg prices are up nearly 40%. Milk rose 17%, and the price of bread jumped more than 16%. Economists say that's worsening the situation for U.S. families already struggling to make ends meet.
Their own personal finances, which largely can be translated into personal disposable income, well, that's falling in real terms.
There's also sticker shock at the meat and poultry counter. Chicken prices are up nearly 17%. Meat and pork both up nearly 7%. And experts say the increases are forcing many families to constantly redo their budgets.
I'll look at my bank statement, figure out what's going on, jot it down, and then sort of go through it and see what I can cut.
Author Michelle Singletary says if you're trying to save on groceries, try skipping the credit or debit card.
Take cash to the grocery store. Take cash to even fill up your car, because you will find you'll drive less because you're thinking, I just spent $50, that $50 out of your hand.
For today's Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
Meanwhile, the latest data released by the Bureau of Labor Statistics also shows restaurant menu prices increased 8%.
All right, we're starting your day off with a gorgeous look at CityCam. You can see the sun is starting to peek out a little bit. Right now, we're seeing temperatures in the 60s. And don't forget, for weather anytime, day or night, you can download that free News 8000 First Alert weather app on your mobile device to receive the up-to-date forecast for your location. We're sitting at 62 degrees with clear skies at the airport. Humidity is at 86%. We have winds out of the east-southeast at high. There's a spider coming down. 7 miles per hour. Take a look here at the hour-by-hour forecast. There we go. There you go. Let's try that again. Let's take a look here at the hour-by-hour forecast and see if we can get that up here. No spider. There we go. Temperatures in the low to mid-60s throughout the morning. We'll see the clouds start to pick up a little bit by the 9 o'clock hour. 72 degrees will be the temperature by the 11 o'clock hour, 76 by noon, 79 by the 1 o'clock hour. One thing you can get on here, too, is your 8-day forecast. And look at this. We have that rain chance in the forecast for tomorrow. This is going to be in the evening hours. 60% chance on Saturday, 60% chance on Sunday. Then the rain chances continue as we go into next week. One thing to note about this 8-day, Thursday, the 22nd, that is the first day of fall. In terms of the radar scan right now, and that's something else you can find on here, we have a clean sweep across the Coulee region. We're seeing a little bit of precipitation across portions of Minnesota. This is going to stay off to the north of us. Our next weather maker is off towards the west, and it's in the form of a low pressure system and a cool front. And the cool front's just going to drop us just a couple of degrees for the weekend. The one behind that is what's really going to drop the temperature starting next week. Again, you can find all that information right here on the News 8000 First Alert weather app. So for today, we'll see temperatures going into the 80s from top to bottom in La Crosse County. As we take a look here for our southern zone, 83 in La Crescent, New Albany, you'll make it to 84. Waukon will go to 81. Over towards the Arcadia area, you'll go to 82. Fountain City, 82. St. Charles will make it to 81. The north zone, Ladysmith will go to 80. Over towards Eau Claire, 82. Fall Creek will make it to 81 degrees. Dean's List for today. Not a bad Thursday at all. We'll see sunny skies. Temperatures will be in the upper 70s to low 80s. Rain chances will pick up this weekend, and fall-like temperatures will be the forecast as we go into next week. So for today, we'll see a little bit of cloud cover. As we go into your Friday, we get a break in the clouds. Then the rain chances start to pick up in the evening and overnight hours. By Saturday, look at that. We have a 1 out of 5 where marginal risk for severe weather with heavy wind and hail being the main threats. So here's a look at the next 8 days. We go to 82 degrees for your Friday, upper 70s to low 80s with thunderstorm chances this weekend, 85 for Tuesday. Then by Thursday, the first day of fall, it's going to feel like it with a temperature of 72 degrees. The long-range outlook, we'll use this for the 10-second takeaway. 6 to 10-day temperature outlook stays above normal, near normal in terms of precipitation, but the 8 to 14-day keeps us near normal in terms of the temperature, but below normal with precip. We'll be back in a few minutes, but first, here's a look at this day in history. Take a look outside. We have temperatures in the upper 50s to low 60s. We're seeing that temperature of 62 degrees at the airport. Humidity is sitting at 86%. With winds out of the east-southeast at 7 miles per hour. As you head out the door, not a bad start to the day. Temperatures in the 50s, upper 50s towards Sparta and Black River Falls. Volk Field, you're checking in with the double nickels, 55 degrees, 60s from Boscobel to Prairie du Chien, upper 50s towards Preston. Satellite radar showing a clean sweep across the Coulee region, but you go to the north and northwest of us, we have rain and thunderstorms. So that chance of precip will be in the forecast for tomorrow night going into Saturday. We'll talk more about that coming up in a few minutes. Hey, Rob Schiff, take it away, buddy.
Welcome to the Blitz. Bring on week 2. Just 3 days until the green and gold get to flush that week 1 performance. They'll get a chance to do it against their biggest rival. It's one of the biggest rivalries in sports. Bears-Packers Sunday night at Lambeau. And for the Packers, a lot of the criticism stemming from game 1 was the use of their running backs. A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones only touching the ball 23 times combined on Sunday, despite accounting for more than half of the team's offense. The backfield duo combining for 167 yards in their loss to the Vikings. On Monday, Coach LaFleur said we need to get them the ball more, especially in the run game. And after practice yesterday, number 12 echoed those sentiments.
I think, maybe reacted. I think it's Matt probably said the same thing, but we maybe reacted to the score a little bit, and we run the ball well. I think we ran it like about six a clip, so we got to just stick with the runs, make sure we're getting our attempts where we want it to be, because that means one of those guys is touching the ball probably. And we have a lot of different packages where they're in the game at different spots, and just finding ways to get them the football a few more times.
And with Rodgers under center, the Packers are 10-0 in games when Jones and Dillon combined for at least 25 touches. So we'll see if that number goes up on Sunday. Brewers looking to make it 2 straight over the Cardinals. Milwaukee up 1 in the second, but Nolan Arenado ties it with 1 swing of the bat. Solo shot ties this game at 1. Then in the 5th, it's 2-1 Redbirds until Lars Nootbaar sends one deep to center field. That ball's gone. Nootbaar makes it 3-1 St. Louis. Same score now in the 8th. Albert Pujols at the dish. Another milestone for the future Hall of Famer. RBI number 2,200 for Pujols. That gives the Cardinals a 3-run lead. Brewers' 3-game win streak is snapped. 4-1 the final in St. Louis. And the Viterbo women's volleyball team continues to roll. The V-Hawks come away with the 3-set sweep over Waldorf last night. A team-high 10 kills on the night for Kenzie Winker. Lauren Zabaski led the way for the V-Hawks with 21 assists. Viterbo improves its record to 11-5 on the year. That'll do it for the Blitz. We'll see you tonight.
New this morning, the Chinese president arrived in Uzbekistan on Wednesday night, where he was welcomed by the Uzbek president. According to Chinese state media, the president is in the country as part of a state visit. He will also attend a leaders meeting of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Among those in attendance is Russian President Vladimir Putin. Russian state media TASS cited the country's envoy to China, saying the two leaders will be meeting on the sidelines. Construction workers in Shanghai have started cleaning up after a typhoon brought strong gales and rain. Despite causing flight cancellations at several airports and grinding port activities to a halt, there was little damage reported. The typhoon was downgraded to a strong tropical storm by Chinese weather forecasters and will continue to bring heavy rains and flash flooding across several provinces. It is now expected to move along the eastern coast. A federal jury in the Chicago area found disgraced singer R. Kelly guilty of producing child pornography and enticing girls for sex. He was found not guilty of trying to rig a 2008 child pornography case that ended in his acquittal. A U.S. attorney says Kelly is facing between 10 and 90 years in prison. The 55-year-old is already serving a 30-year sentence in prison for various charges in the state of New York. Supporters for victims of human trafficking are pushing Iowa lawmakers to pass a safe harbor bill. 30 other states already have the law on the books protecting those 18 and under from being charged with crimes. The Iowa House passed the safe harbor bill during the 2022 legislative session, but it never made it to the Senate floor. Advocates pushing for changes to the system say the way cases involving human trafficking victims are handled needs to be addressed.
They need to be in a protected environment that is trauma-informed, that understands the impact of trauma on a child, in particular, on their brain, on their behavior.
The proposed legislation would only protect trafficking survivors from nonviolent charges like prostitution or theft. A fundraiser for an Iowa teenager who killed her alleged rapist has raised hundreds of thousands of dollars. 17-year-old Piper Lewis pled guilty to killing the 37-year-old man she says raped her several times. But according to Iowa state law, anyone convicted of homicide must pay at least $150,000 to the victim's estate. A GoFundMe started by Lewis's former teacher has raised more than $300,000. A conviction is bringing comfort to a Minnesota family after racism drove hate directly into their home. This week, a jury found a man guilty of tormenting a family in Cold Spring, Minnesota because of the color of their skin. Jennifer Mearley has their story.
Just over a year after the Robinsons' Ring doorbell caught this truck crashing through their home, a jury validated what the family knew. They were racially targeted.
It's incredibly hard to accept. We are a multiracial family, that someone would want to harm my husband, my kids, or me for simply being married to a black man, that level of hate exists.
A jury found Benton Byer guilty of stealing the truck, putting granite on the accelerator and letting it go, with a teddy bear hanging from a noose inside. It was the culmination of 80-plus days of stalking and harassment. Andrea had a restraining order against him.
The experience has not only changed my life and my husband's lives, but it's significantly impacted the lives of my children.
A year ago, her husband, Felipe, told us,
how do I supposed to feel safe? I mean, my wife, my children don't want to stay here, and I understand.
But they did stay here. And Andrea says while they live with the trauma of what happened, now there is also relief.
A year ago, we didn't know we were supported and safe, but now we have, a full neighborhood and a community that has really stood behind us.
She says her family wants to move forward while Byer faces his punishment.
I hope that whatever underlying issues Mr. Byer has, that he's able to address those, and I hope that the sentence gives him a long time to think about what he did.
Byer will stay here in custody at the Stearns County Jail until he is sentenced in mid-November. Jennifer Merrily, WCCO 4 News.
Now, Robinson said she found her voice during this time and wants to help out others. She is running to serve in the Minnesota House. Back here in Wisconsin, an armed suspect was shot and killed by Milwaukee police during a shootout on Wednesday. 2 suspects are still on the run. When the tactical enforcement unit arrived, bullets were hitting their squad car. The officers got out and started shooting back at the 3 suspects. One of those suspects was hit multiple times and later died at the hospital. 2 others ran from the scene. They are still on the loose. The officers involved were not hurt and are currently on desk duty during that investigation. The Congressional Select Committee investigating the January 6th attack is seeking another 3,200 pages of emails from Trump attorney John Eastman. He was behind the legal theory that then Vice President Mike Pence could stop Congress's certification of Joe Biden's election win. The committee told a federal judge it needs the additional documents to finish its efforts, including preparing the final report before the congressional term ends. 2020 election conspiracy theorist and MyPillow CEO Mike Lindell says the FBI served him with a grand jury subpoena for his phone. Peters pleaded not guilty to charges connected to a scheme that allegedly allowed an unauthorized person to access voting machines. Jonah Kaplan has more.
Mike Lindell, he's an entrepreneur, he's a businessman here in Minnesota. He was on his way back from Iowa. The FBI meeting him here in Minnesota, but this investigation having nothing to do with Minnesota, and, depending who you ask, has nothing to do with Lindell. Lindell himself sharing with us these photos of the search warrant and subpoenas from a federal grand jury. Sources telling CBS News investigators seeking Lindell's phone because of his connections with a county clerk in Colorado, Tina Peters. I mean, do you know Tina Peters? I mean, do you even know her well? You said you met her a year ago. Are you close with her?
I met her. Well, I backed her for running for Secretary of State. She ran for Secretary of State.
Peters is pleading not guilty to nearly a dozen charges, including felonies of producing fake IDs and giving illegal access to voting equipment. Lindell, while insisting he is not under investigation, accusing the FBI and the federal government of personally targeting him for his views.
100% to send a message, because I've got the subpoena here, and it says, it's got stuff on there like in the Lindell cell phone, if there's anything with Dominion, it's all about Dominion and my cell phone.
We did ask Mike Lindell, did the FBI give him any instructions, someone to talk with, someone not to talk with? He said no, and he's never received any word from federal investigators in Washington, D.C. related to January 6th.
Now, Lindell is being sued by Dominion Voting Systems and others for defamation. Dominion says he falsely accused it of rigging the presidential election. Back here in La Crosse, the La Crosse County Clerk of Courts is asking voters to remember her name. Kelly Guyette lost the April primary, but yesterday she announced she is running as a write-in candidate. Guyette says she received an endorsement from mentor and past county clerk Pam Radke. She says her colleagues and coworkers encouraged her to run as a write-in candidate.
And I understand that, and I'm going into this understanding that this is going to be a challenge, but I have to continue fighting forward. I'm fighting for those people that continuously reach out to me and ask me to do this, that they want to see me continue to handle this office and continue to work in this position.
Guyette says winning will be tough, but she's confident and hopeful voters will remember her name and write her in this November.
For La Crosse County.
The latest Marquette Law School poll finds incumbent Republican Ron Johnson leading the race for Wisconsin's Senate seat. According to the poll released this week, he has the support of 49% of likely voters, up from 45% in August, while challenger Lieutenant Governor Mandela Barnes has fallen from 52 to 48%. In the race for Wisconsin governor, incumbent Democrat Tony Evers remains ahead of Republican challenger Tim Michels. Evers has 47% of the vote. Michels trails with 44%.
All right, as you head out the door, you see sunny skies there. Make sure you have the sunglasses with you. We're at 62 degrees. It feels like 62. Our dew point's at 58. Winds are out of the east-southeast at 7 miles per hour. Other temperatures across the area in the 50s and 60s. Sparta, good morning to you guys. You're at 59 degrees, 59 in Viroqua, 57 in Black River Falls, 60 in Eau Claire, 59 in Winona. Preston, good morning to you guys as well. You're seeing a temperature of 58 degrees. And in terms of visibility, not a factor across portions of the area this morning. From Viroqua and Point South, it may be a little bit of a contender, but still not bad to say the least. Radar scan, we have a clean sweep as high pressure is in control. So as we help you plan your day, we'll see temperatures going into the 60s throughout the morning hour, 63 by the 8 o'clock hour, 66 by the 9 o'clock hour. I have your 8-day forecast coming up in a few minutes. Jordan, over to you.
Looking forward to that. Thanks a lot, Eric. Well, coming up in the buzz this morning, David Bowie is back in a new documentary featuring previously unheard music and much more. We'll have the latest just ahead in your buzz here on News 8 Now this morning. We'll be right back right after this.
All right, let's go ahead and check the tropics, shall we? Because we do have a new named storm. This is Tropical Storm Fiona. This is moving to the west at 13 miles per hour. The winds are 50 miles per hour, and the location, you can see it right here, is 545 miles east of the Leeward Island. So, you know, past several weeks, it's been quiet in the Atlantic. Now we're starting to get into the peak of the Atlantic hurricane season. Now we take a look here at the track. It's going to stay a tropical storm as we go throughout the next several days. Max winds between 60 to 65 miles per hour. You can see there Tuesday morning it has that speed of 65. Outside right now we have sunny skies. The cloud cover is starting to pick up just a little bit here. We're going to stay partly to mostly cloudy across portions of the area for today. Made it to 78 yesterday after a morning start of the double nickels, 55 degrees. That 55 is where we should be for this time of year anyway. 76 is where we should be on the high end. Today, much warmer than yesterday. We're talking temperatures going in the 80s from top to bottom in La Crosse County. Over towards the Westby area, 80 degrees, New Albin, 84 degrees, Waukon, you'll go to 81, 82 in Whitehall. 82 in Arcadia. Alma, you'll go to 84. Fountain City will be right around 82. Ladysmith, Cornell, Stanley, you'll see temperatures right around 80. 82 will be the high in Chippewa Falls. So not a bad Thursday at all. We'll see partly cloudy skies. Rain chances will start to pick up as we go into the weekend, and then fall-like temperatures next week. Matter of fact, fall starts on Thursday, but for today, that dew point is going to be right around that 55 to 60 degree threshold. So we'll go ahead and put Fremsted's hair in the wavy category again today. Hairspray will be needed. All right, here's like a sky tracker, and you can see that southerly flow that's going to stay in play. There's the cloud cover I was talking about, where we see that mixture of sun and clouds. By Friday, we'll get a break in the cloud cover. We'll start the day off with sunny skies, and then precip chances start to pick up as we go to the afternoon and early evening hours. Let's talk about Saturday. Storm Prediction Center has the majority of the Coulee region under a marginal risk or a 1 out of 5 for severe weather, with heavy wind and hail being the main threat. So make sure you have that free News 8000 First Alert weather app on your device to receive the latest information for your area. So First Alert forecast for today, 83 degrees. We'll see mostly sunny skies, a smidge warmer with winds out of the southeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Let's go ahead and break out Saturday. We'll see that temperature of 80 degrees, and here's how we get there. Here's that front I was talking about earlier, this is a weak front that'll push its way through, and when it does, it will do two things. It will increase the rain chances, but it'll shift the wind. We're on the leading edge of a high pressure system, and then we get on the back end of it again, which will keep temperatures in the low 80s. And another front will push its way through for Tuesday night going into Wednesday. Wednesday, we drop the temperatures again with a high of 77. Thursday, the first day of fall, oh, it'll feel like it. Look at that temperature of 72 degrees. Jordan, take it away.
Can I just come out and say the Haircast graphic is the GOAT of weather graphics? It is not close. Plus, my face ends up on a cereal box. How many people can say that? Dreams coming true every day here on News 8 Now this morning. In our Buzz Report this morning, the many lives of David Bowie are featured in a new documentary featuring previously unheard music. The documentary Moon Age, Daydream, brings the deep mystery of David Bowie to the big screen. The film features previously unheard recordings and new mixes created for the movie, with a soundtrack album being released alongside the film, which will be released on September 22nd. It is definitely her. Maya Goth stars in the new horror movie Pearl, a prequel to X, which came out in March, and it turns out she's getting a trilogy. A24 has greenlit a third film in the horror franchise, with Goth's character heading to Hollywood in the 1980s. The title, Maxine, with 3 X's. With that in mind, we've got some birthdays to celebrate this Thursday morning.
All right, first of all, happy 8 months to Benny. He loves making noise, trying to get his big brother and snuggles. Happy birthday, Benny.
Happy birthday, Benny. Happy 80th birthday to Louise this morning. This grandma of 4 enjoys baking, running her gardening club, going on daily walks, and spending time with her family and friends.
And happy birthday to Cece. Her mom says that she is a sweet, enthusiastic, happy girl that enjoys unicorns, horses, and spending time with her family and friends. Happy birthday, Cece.
Happy 80th birthday this morning to Carrie. She has Norwegian elk hounds that she takes to schools, libraries, and prisons for therapy. And she is a master gardener, as well as an author and illustrator of animal books. A lot of accomplishments, Carrie. Happy birthday to you this morning.
And if you know a special someone turning 8 months, 8 years, 80 years, or 88 years old soon, we would love to feature them.
Yeah, just upload their photo to our website. You're going to look for the Submit Pictures button right under the Home tab at news8000.com. We hope you can stay with us this morning. We've got everything you need to know today in 5 minutes or less. Your Morning News Now is up next.
And on CBS Mornings, Ben Tracy talks exclusively with the CEO of Uber inside an Uber. Hear the company's big news about its push to create a greener fleet of cars. Also, Oscar-winning actress, that's Viola Davis, and John Boyega are here to talk about their new groundbreaking action movie based on real-life woman warriors. It's called The Woman King. It is knocked out. An NBA All-Star and mental health advocate, that's Kevin Love, is also here today to tell us about his new program to help kids. We'll see you 7 o'clock on the dot.
Your Morning News Now on this Thursday. Nurses were on strike for a third and final day in Minnesota on Wednesday. Members were once again walking the picket lines at more than a dozen hospitals throughout the state. The strike continues to affect 15,000 nurses who left the hospitals to walk those picket lines after the union and healthcare providers were unable to reach agreements.
What we're looking for is a say at the staffing table. We want to sit down with the employer. We do the work. It's the Nurse Practice Act and the Minnesota State Board of Nursing that holds us accountable to our license. And when we have a say in how it is we practice, we get it done. But if we don't have a say, everyone is at risk. Every single one of us needs a nurse one day in your life. We are here to fight so that you have that nurse the day you need it.
Negotiations for new contracts may start again later today when thousands of nurses are scheduled to return to work. In Eau Claire County, the Eau Claire County Sheriff's Department undersheriff has assumed the role of sheriff. Corey Shalinski takes over for Sheriff Ron Kramer, who died unexpectedly on Tuesday. Shalinski joined the department in 2012 and has earned promotion 3 times. Shalinski will lead the department until the next election or appointment by the governor. Good news for La Crosse County property owners. The next budget under consideration now includes a 9.6 average reduction in property taxes. County Board Chair Monica Cruz says the budget will also reduce the county's debt by 12.5% and will use millions in American Rescue Plan funding to pay for several projects.
An arduous process. Let's say that. We had to create task forces that, tried to decide where the money was best spent. There was some controversy about that, of course.
One of the proposed projects is an expansion of the Hillview campus. The board would use millions in American Rescue Plan funds to build an additional structure for 48 residents who need specialized memory care.
All right, here's a look at your forecast for today. We'll see mostly sunny skies, a smidge warmer as compared to yesterday. We're talking temperatures in the low 80s, some places staying in the upper 70s, but for tonight, we'll see partly cloudy skies with a nice light wind. Overnight lows in the upper 50s to low 60s.
Get ready to rock at La Crosse's Copeland Park. The Great Rivers United Way is hosting United We Rock. The concert is free and will take place today. The doors open at 5 o'clock with an acoustic act, Tom Conrad. The Great Rivers United Way encourages the community to come early and take advantage of at-the-door promotions. The weather kept organizers of Steppin' Out in Pink from holding their event this year, but you can still help support local breast cancer research. You can buy a t-shirt or items from vendors or make a monetary donation. We've got information on how you can help out at news8000.com. Hard to believe, but Oktoberfest kicks off in just a couple of weeks. Wednesday, organizers introduced 2 more members of this year's royal family. Your Maple Leaf Parade Marshal, Dave Giefer, and Mike Jorgensen will lead the Torchlight Parade. Both are excited to create new memories for that parade for families who attend.
It was always a big thing for our kids as we'd be walking to our spots at the parade route, so they are extremely excited about this as well.
I've worked the working side of Fest for 30-some years, helping out in one way or another. And now being part of the royal family would be fun to do the parades every weekend somewhere else, do the schools, the nursing homes. I'm pretty excited about that part of Fest.
The Torchlight Parade is set for 7 p.m. September 29th on La Crosse's north side. The Maple Leaf is at 10 a.m. October 1st, which we will be live streaming on our 8.2 channel. You can still get tickets for the fest on the official Oktoberfest website.
All right, let's go ahead and round out the hour with a final look at the 8-day. We'll see temperatures in the 80s today and tomorrow, and we'll see temperatures in the 70s for Wednesday.
That's all the time we have for now. CBS Mornings follows us here, and we hope you have a great day. Thank you for watching.